I'm a bird, mother. I'm a bird.
And it's been almost exchanged for. I said this to someone the other day, right? Like DEI is almost like the new N word.
What the fuck? Oh my!
Wow.
How can you say that?
Wow. Actually, wow. I don't.
So yeah, that showed up in my timeline today, and I have no words. I absolutely have no words. So let's talk about Flintlock. Flintlock. And full disclosure, I personally did not even look into the game. The game doesn't even look interesting to me.
Here's that all too predictable yikes that I knew was coming. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Flintlock Siege of Dawn has released. To epic failure, falling flat on its face and exploding on retail shelves into a fiery mess that nobody wants to play. Well,
Yeah, their global player base was 500.
Really?
That's the most epic fail of them all. Their launch day was worse than Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad had. I don't even know, but I heard bad things about it as well.
That's an achievement on its own.
Yeah, that shit's wild.
shouldn't say nobody wants to play. I mean, there are those compromised journalists that I've talked about and how they have the backs of Sweet Baby Inc. because they want to make sure anything that Sweet Baby Inc. touches, that they are pushing it forward because Sweet Baby Inc. is just the most important thing in the world, and any game they work on is so important and so great that everyone needs to play it even if it's not that good. Why?
I'm gonna play this clip to refresh everyone's memory.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Now tell me, is that a sane statement? Flintlock literally begged Sweet Baby Inc. not to portray them or show them on their list.
That's wild.
Well, I mean, it's not the worst game ever. It's actually quite average. But when you consider this game's been in development hell for years, and the people behind it, A44 Games, had potential up until the point of involving Sweet Baby Inc. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for the full article breaking down the incredible flop that Flintlock Siege of Dawn is undergoing right now. The somehow much anticipated action role-playing game from compromised journos that I covered in a previous video.
Yeah, look, I don't think the problem with the game is actually how the game looked. I think by now, people just actively avoid anything that has to do with Sweet Baby Inc.
Has released, and an A44 Games case published by Kepler Interactive, much to their dismay, has not released with a bang, but with a quiet yelp. Any initial buzz surrounding Flintlock has quickly dissipated, with Steam charts reflecting a stark reality. The game is not popular at all. Players are abandoning ship. Most aren't even bothering with it in the first place. The numbers are dropping rapidly, and a launch day peaking at, as of recording this, 648 players.
Oh,
that's their peak at launch.
Wait, it's gonna go down to like 1 or 2 people playing it years later.
648 players for this massive game that had so much work going into it and such high expectations that everyone covering it, knowing exactly the background of it, was going to be a complete commercial failure.
Jesus.
And I don't know how to put this nicely, but 648 people peaking on launch day for this massive release
so depressing.
from the studio is so
really
embarrassingly bad that it's kind of weird to even be talking about it. Like, think about it, like 648 people on Steam playing this game. That's about the same amount of people that watched my video in the first 20 minutes of launch.
Okay, to put it in perspective, it's less than I have subscribers. It's a flop of epic proportions.
I just don't. I can't even comprehend it.
It's so bad that there are no words for it. And this doesn't even get into the Metacritic. We need to talk about that. Metacritic scores from reviewers paint a bleak
Ooh.
picture as well, with the game currently sitting at a lukewarm score at around 70 or 71. The number that is steadily declining as more reviews come in. More reviews coming from uncompromised journos, people that are just playing the game on their own to decide for themselves if it's good, instead of feeling like they have to push propaganda for Sweet Baby Inc. because they're in bed with them. What did I mean by compromised journos? Let's talk about Kotaku. who
Of
said-
course. Of course. Let's talk about Kotaku.
Of course.
Let's do it.
Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn has its issues, but I think A44 Games has hit upon something special here, creating both an approachable form of Souls-like gameplay and a unique, non-conventional fantasy setting that isn't just another pseudo-European medieval landscape dominated by white men. The game could have easily reached something greater with another 5 or so hours of gameplay, but what's on offer here is a low barrier to entry for a genre that is often too eager to delight in your misery. That one's by Claire Jackson of Kotaku.
Yeah, just make the game and play the game. Like, if it's fun, people will flock to it. You don't need the caveat of having, being was inclusive. Like, that just screws everything over. Like that. Like, it drives people away. It's so fucked. Like, they're only inclusive to, sadly, a certain demographic. Anywhere else, they just say fuck off.
But compare that to other outlets
Nice
that are
job.
saying that Flintlock The Siege of Dawn is just not memorable. It has perfectly okay combat, but it's filled with little frustrations.
Yeah,
that
it looks
bury the few
beautiful.
innovations that work.
Yeah, it does.
Movement outside of combat is often unreliable and not satisfying, and it's backed up by a story that failed to grab them at any turn. They talk about how it has glimpses of good ideas, but more often than not, never get fleshed out, and they're left feeling like very empty, that the game doesn't really present a full experience to them. Sweet Baby Inc. has solidified themselves as a curse. At this point,
Yep,
you are
It's not even a curse. By this point, people are like, we don't want to give a single cent to them.
They just want the Sweet Baby Inc. die because they are a malicious company.
They are malicious.
Mhm.
dooming your company if you sign them up to come on and consult with you. And a lot of times people might hear that and be like, oh, you're blowing it out of proportion. All they do
No.
is narrative assistance and some designs and help people out and give little tidbits of what they should do. No, in the case of Flintlock,
Their consultancy is basically, let's make the character as empty and one-dimensional as possible. Their only trademark is either their orientation or their race. There's nothing more to them. That's their quote-unquote consultation. I'm pretty sure all of the people who play games by this point proved that we don't like one-dimensional characters. We want depth to it. We want an immersive world, an immersive imaginary world where we can go play and not think about everything outside.
Siege of Dawn, they did anything but little help and little tidbits. They completely changed the entire game around. In fact, up to and including, now I know this is going to be hard to hear for a lot of people that don't believe it, but initially the lead character was supposed to be white. And then Sweet Baby Inc. came into the project and felt they should make them a black lead character, and then changed the entire compromise of the entire game
no
surrounding
idea.
that. Or at
Okay,
least
so-
if rumors
Look, I have no problem with the main character being black.
Yeah, like I looked at the character. I'm like, okay, so that's the main character. Whatever. Like I wouldn't have known if this was brought up because I feel like regardless if the person was a different color, they were made for that world, so they fit in. But what he also said was that they changed the whole narrative of the story, so
That
that's
is
where they
not okay.
fucked up. Yeah, they fucked it up hard.
about this are to be believed. Many folks saying, why the hell would I even bother playing this game. If it's just a generic action role-playing game where
Yeah.
there's a dime a dozen, millions of those out there to play right now, my backlog is long as hell, why would I bother with this game? Which is exactly the conclusion that so many gamers have come to when it came to buying or playing this game. There's just no reason or demand to do so. And honestly, it's unfortunate because it's a new IP, and that's something that we're always, as gamers, or at least myself, clamoring for. Instead of rehashing remakes and sequels to everything we already know, how about something fresh and new that doesn't involve some sort of consultancy company injecting a DEI
I don't
agenda?
know why one day these AAA games woke up and decided, yeah, let's hire a consultancy agency. Like, they obviously did better before them.
They did.
Into a game. How about just making a new IP, a new title, without needing them? Grums on Twitter said, SBI game Flintlock has launched to very poor Steam stats. Only 607 players, where other older games are doing much better at this hour. The game is already
Damn, bro.
discounted 10% on the launch day. Kabruta said,
Bro.
today is the launch day of Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, a game tainted by Sweet Baby Inc. And, to no one's surprise, it is tanking hard on Steam.
Ouch.
Keep
Keep
voting with
voting
your
with
wallets.
your wallets. This is not the
Mhm.
first time, nor is it going to be the last time that we've seen Sweet Baby Inc. not just involve themselves with a game's design process, but ultimately tank it at retail shelves because they are not good at what they do. And some would even argue that it has very little to do with being good or not. It's just a matter of, are they even necessary? These are unprofessional people, a mafia going around making sure that they get their way to have these game companies
That's a
pay
good
up
way
for their
of
services.
calling them.
Otherwise, their journal friends, you know, the
Yo.
Nose Ring Mafia, will write hit pieces.
Okay, okay.
Wait a
okay.
minute.
Wait. I do want to hear the nose ring mafia. I have nose rings.
I'm even from the different continent. Don't loop me with them.
After hit piece to destroy their company, like they were doing with Game Science, who refused to participate with them. And while that is an unconfirmed rumor at this point, it does kind of fall in line with exactly what's transpiring right now. As far as A44 Games is concerned, this most likely is going to doom their studio. They can't survive a massive critical failure on top of all the behind the scenes garbage that was going on leading up to release day. This is an epic fail on a grand scale in front of everyone
Jesus
to
Christ.
see. And unfortunately, some people might
This
be
will
really
go
hard
down in history. There's like so much historical shit happening. This is gonna be part of it. Jesus Christ.
developers working really hard on this game behind the scenes, but because they involved narrative design like Sweet Baby Inc. and impacted the game to a point of catastrophic failure, they really have no one to blame but themselves when they ultimately close up shop. At least that's the way I'm seeing this. As far as Flintlock Siege of Dawn is concerned, looks to be just another generic action RPG that had potential. I'll be honest, like, generally it looked interesting, but as far as the gameplay, reviews, and storyline have come out about it, nope, not even worth wasting my time.
Cannot wait for Mafia 4, the Nose Ring Mafia. I'm gonna remove my nose rings.
No, you look really good with them on.
Time on it. I've gone through all these Metacritic reviews and wanted to give it an honest shot. I genuinely did, but I can't help but come away from it thinking that there are a couple impacted journalists out there that are trying to push this game, but overall, it's just very mixed. As of right now, on PC Critic Reviews, there are 5 positive overall, which is 25% of the reviews.
Oof.
5 of
Oof.
them said it's positive. The overall, overwhelming majority are mixed. 14 of them, or making up 70%, are mixed. And then you have the 5% that are to be determined, which one of them falling under that is Kotaku, like I
Of
talked
course.
about. But it's
Of course.
ironic that even Kotaku doesn't have a score for this, but they're talking about it in a positive light. Just like it could have been 5 hours longer, it could have been a little bit better and bigger and could have done these things, but overall, it's the perfect entry game
Oh,
for you to
God.
get into. You should really give it a
Oh,
shot. And it's
Lord.
so egregiously obvious that they're pushing an agenda for their buddies over at Sweet Baby Inc. at this point, that they need to come back and hit you on the head with a tack hammer if you don't notice what they're doing right now. I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. I will link it in the description below.
Yeah,
if you appreciate what I'm doing, please consider hitting.
We will be checking out his channel more. This was a good video. I'm really worried about where games are heading these days. I'm worried about a good game not being in our near future.